Last month, my family and I spent 27 awesome days road tripping our way through Italy. We learned a lot along the way, and we're excited to share what we learned with you today. What's up guys, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining in with us today. Let's not dilly-dally, we'll just jump straight into the tips for you. So tip number one. Tip number one is to research across multiple platforms before committing to a campervan rental company. Now the reason we say this, there was one campervan company that we were pretty certain we were going to go with because they were quite a decent chunk cheaper than the others, and the reviews on their website were pretty good. However, it didn't take long, just a quick Google search to just see all of the negative reviews just pop straight up. Some tools you can use online to make sure that you're getting a good overview of the reviews of the company, as things like obviously YouTube, Google, TripAdvisor, I think there's Trustpilot. Reddit is a really great one as well for some really honest feedback. Make sure that you do a good amount of research before you commit to renting a camper van, because renting a camper van from a company that might be a little bit sketchy could really put a dampener on your entire trip. With that said, the company that we ended up going with was Road Surfers. They were fantastic. The staff was super friendly and super quick to respond to any inquiries that we had. Like I said, we were on our trip for 27 nights and that cost us just over $3,000 New Zealand, which was about 110, 111 per night. All right, moving on to tip two, one that I didn't even know that we needed to know. Petrol stations. So when you go into a petrol station in Italy, you'll see that there's two options. So you've got a self-service or a service. Now the reason this is important is because if you go into a service pump, it means an attendant is going to come out and is going to fill your car for you. However, this does mean that the petrol or the diesel price overall is more expensive. However, if you go to a self-service pump, it remains the same as it was when you pulled in, if that makes sense. So if you went in and it was, I don't know, $1.40 for diesel, it might be $1.45 for service. No worries though, if you do happen to pull into a service pump and you wanted to self-service, the attendant that will come out, you just say to them, oh, sorry, and they'll point you in the direction of a self-service pump so you can go and do it yourself. All right, moving on to parking in Italy. So parking in Italy is all color coordinated, which makes it super easy to know where you can and you cannot park. So the first one is the blue colors. So blue is paid parking, so there will be a pay meter anywhere around the blue car parks. You've got yellow, which is reserved. White means it's completely free. You can park there for as long as you like and you won't have to pay anything. And pink is for expectant mothers or mothers that have newborns that need to be closer to where they're going. All right, moving on to tip number 4, and that is the app Park4Night. We used this the entire time we were on our trip and we never had a single problem with parking overnight. Park4Night is fantastic. It gives you an overview of the area that you were in, and everyone else that has camped there prior has either left a spot that they liked or they've left a review on a spot. So for example, if you were in Rome, you could pop into Park4Night that you're in Rome and it'll show you everywhere that you could possibly park for the night. And all of the park spots have reviews on them. So you can go through, check the reviews, see if people had issues there, see if they enjoyed being there, and then that way you can make a more informed decision about where to spend the night. Park4Night is also great because it shows you not only where you can park for the night, but it shows you where you can empty your grey and black disposal water. It shows you where you can fill up your water, and it shows you proper camping spots where they've got showers and Wi-Fi and all of that kind of stuff. So I'd highly suggest that you download the Park4Night app. We used the free version. Don't feel that you need to pay for the subscription to Park4Night. The only difference I found between the free version and the paid version is in the free version you can filter, the paid version you can filter for things like 5 stars or showers or whatever you'd like to filter for. All right, tip 5. So the driving in Italy is interesting. So let's start with the giveaway. Let's start with the giveaway rules. So from our understanding, when we Googled what way to give way to, we honestly got told both ways, and it was very confusing for us. But from what we understand after driving through the country for 27 days, if you're in a roundabout situation, the cars that are already in the roundabout have right of way. That should be pretty obvious. Otherwise, you're trying to yield to your left. However, on normal circumstances, you're giving way to your right. And then the other giveaway rule that they've got is if you are coming downhill and a car is coming up, the car that is coming up has the right of way, so you need to try and somehow pull over or get out of the way for them. With that said, the roads in Italy are super tight. Some of the roads that we drove through, I'll try and insert some footage, some of the roads that we drove through, it felt like they were built for one little car let alone a camper van. So you've got to have a little bit of confidence to your driving when you're driving through Italy, particularly places like down on the Amalfi Coast and things. They're very, very tight, windy roads. So go into it knowing that it will be a tiny bit stressful and a little bit fast-paced, but you've got it. All right, tip number 6, and that is toll roads. So I wish we had known this when we first started because it could have saved us quite a bit of money. However, so the toll roads in Italy, if you're leaving one city and heading to another city, you will go through a toll road on the way out and you'll go through a toll road on the way in, and you pay whatever distance that you went. The first time we did it, we went from Milan to Pisa, and that cost us like 33 euros. It really hurt, and I wish we had have known prior to that so we could have avoided that situation. Now, albeit toll roads are fantastic, they're really well paved and they're much quicker. However, if you're smart, you can go into your Google Maps or your iPhone Maps, whatever you're using, and when you put in where you're going, to the side you can actually filter it and choose non-toll roads. Now, it will add an hour or so, sometimes more, to your trip, but it might save you a hell of a lot of money. So I'd highly suggest switching your maps to non-toll roads, see what the difference is, see if the difference is worth the toll cost, and then you can make a decision from there. And tip number 7 is just moving into some real quick fire basic facts about Italy that we wish we had known before we went over. The first one is called coperto, I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's basically a cover fee for the table that you're in if you're at a restaurant. All restaurants will do this, whether you're having just a glass of wine or you're sitting down for a full course meal. I shouldn't say all, most restaurants are going to charge you a coperto. So we found it wasn't anything crazy. It's like a few euro usually at most, but just be aware that when you sit down and you're kind of figuring out perhaps your budget for your lunch, just make sure that you allow a little bit of extra for coperto. With that said too, if you're sitting down at a restaurant and they offer you water, 9 times out of 10 that water is not free. It's generally not hugely expensive, maybe 2 or 3 euros. It's nothing major, but just so you know, if they offer you water, it's not going to be free generally, and you also have to specify if you would like still or sparkling. Another thing to keep in mind with Italy is they have something similar to a siesta, and it is called a riposo. Oh God, I'm going to botch all of these words. And it's basically just a shutdown time, usually from midday to about 3 or 3:30 p.m. And the idea behind this is that Italians like to go home, spend time with family, and enjoy a home-cooked meal. It's their downtime, their relaxed time. So if you are out at that time, don't be surprised if a lot of the shops are closed and they reopen in the later afternoon. Tips in Italy. Tips generally aren't custom, so you don't need to tip in Italy. You can if you would like to. If you felt that the service was really great, then you're more than welcome to tip the waiter or the waitress, but it's not needed. And our last tip is to always have a little bit of change on you, specifically for bathrooms. Bathrooms in Italy, the public ones, generally you're going to have to pay €1 or so to use them. Some bathrooms are free, but it's better to be safe than sorry and just have a few coins in your pocket. Alright, that is it from me today. I hope that you learned something from this video. There's a wasp. Go away, go away. Right, that is it for me today. I hope that you were able to maybe learn something, and if you're going on a camper van trip through Italy, we hope you have the best time ever. If you're after more travel content, particularly travel content with a young toddler, feel free to subscribe. That would be great. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.